Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine. He's not running for office, but we still want to get him on because there's what to talk about. This is one of the few people you're going to see who's not actually running for office. We only have him on because we like him, we respect him. He's one of our favorite guests, President of Water Reclamation, Terry O'Brien.
Hi, Avi.
Hi, how are you? And the reason my basement probably didn't flood, although we got a tiny bit of water, was because you guys were actually, now this rainfall was more than anybody could handle, period.
Yeah, the rainfall wasn't a tiny bit of water. It was about 101 billion gallons of precipitation that actually fell from the sky.
And you're talking about on a good day, on the best day when everything's finished, you can handle about 23 billion?
Approximately 23 billion, plus our outlying separate sewered area, detention areas, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, the rain lasted from almost 48 hours, so approximately 51 hours, really. Started at 1:30 on Friday afternoon and was all over by 4:30 on Sunday.
And some of the people in our viewing area, of course, were busy canoeing on their streets. And
yes, they were, and some were cleaning out their basements. But you know, our systems, everything performed to what its capability is and to its capacity during this event. As we're talking off camera, the tunnel filled on Saturday morning by 7:30 in the morning.
Wow.
And that was 2.6 billion gallons. Our transitional reservoir in the south end of the county had 4 billion gallons in it. Our cup reservoir out in O'Hara had 350 million gallons of water, plus our whole system was full. The rivers were full. Even though we lowered the elevations of the rivers and streams in the area long before the storm came into the region on Friday afternoon at 1:30. So we actually had additional holding capacity. We did have to open up and release water to the lake. We're still trying to get the numbers, the accurate numbers put out, but I'm going to say it's probably in the area of about maybe 75 billion gallons that we had to release to the lake and down through the controlling works in Lockport, Illinois.
Now, this is largely rainwater? Or?
Yeah, it's predominantly, it's all, rainwater. I mean, some people are concerned it was raw sewage, but they got to remember that the first flush of the system on a storm like this, or any storm, comes to us in the tunnel. That is actually captured in the tunnel. And this storm was just a consistent downpour, for those 51 hours, whatever the exact time frame was on it. So, the bulk of that water that was then going into the lake was basically stormwater.
And that's the first time in how long since?
First time, this is the largest storm we've had since 1987 when we got 9 inches of rain in the area. But last year we had to open up Wilmette in August because we had the whole week of rain, and then one Thursday night it just opened up on the northern suburbs. So we released at Wilmette last year, but at Chicago and the O'Brien locks down in the Calumet region, it was the first time we had to open up since August of 2002.
First time I heard the name O'Brien locks.
No relation.
Gotta ask.
Same tree, different branch.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Good. No, there's lots of O'Briens. You can't all be related.
Yeah.
There's no question. But overall, it's like in this neighborhood, we were very pleased. Now, one thing I want to say too, real quick, and then we want to talk about the election because we don't have a lot of time. Is that we were talking the last time you were on about the sanitary canal and people wanting to use it for various activities. I noticed that where the sanitary canal existed, or North Shore Channel, whatever you want to call it, there wasn't flooding, but where the natural Chicago River was, that's where the flooding seemed, or the Des Plaines River, that's where the floodings occurred.
And any engineering system that was designed or built by the district that wasn't actually natural, we had no problems with. The North Branch of Chicago, as you mentioned, is a natural body of water that was created basically by Mother Nature, and that's where we had some over-the-bank flooding over in the Albany Park area. But every system, North Shore Channel, the sanitary and ship canal, the fact that we did reversals to the lake and that the river flows backwards, it just shows you that there was some foresight when they designed this area. I mean, basically, Chicagoland's a floodplain area. And what they did is they took into consideration flooding besides wastewater. So I think the fact that we had a lot of these mechanisms in place really saved the region more from what could have actually happened to us.
No, I don't think there's any question. And I remember when I was a kid, some of the stuff that used to occur in a different area. And anyway, but let's talk about the election. We do have 3 people running for commissioner of the Water Reclamation District. 3 slots are open. And, You think you're going to vote for any of them?
Sure, I'm going to vote for all three. They've all done a fine job, starting with our Vice President, Kathleen Meany, Commissioner Cynthia Santos, and Commissioner Frank Avila.
So those are ballot numbers 23, 24, and 25, not in particular order. I just know the consecutive numbers.
There you go. I think
and actually, you can see both Kathleen Meany and Cynthia Santos on the show next week. So you should stay tuned for that. But let's talk a little bit about it. I mean, you've been working with these people for a while. Tell us.
Well, Kathy's she's running for her 4th term. Cindy's running for her 3rd term, and Frank is running for her 2nd term. And I've served on the board, like I said, for that amount of time, and they're always very conscientious in what they do and the decisions that they make as commissioners. As I mentioned to you earlier in the year, we're the only agency that really abated any tax dollars back to the residents in this region. And that's not all because of me. That's because of the 9 members that serve on the board and the decisions and the fiscal responsibility that they take in making those decisions as a board. And, we work together as a team. When I first became president in '97, I always said, this is not a one-person show. This is a teamwork here. So, and that's how we've operated, and it's worked out very well.
There's no question. And one of the things I wanted to let everybody know, too, is when I talk to all the different commissioners, the mutual respect back and forth between them, and they come from very varying areas and backgrounds. But there's a lot of the way people cooperate, and virtually every single one of them, there's cooperation, there's respect, the whole shot, and they really have a lot of respect for one another. So anyway, so you're telling us to vote for all 3 incumbents.
All 3 incumbents, Meany, Santos, and Avila. And don't forget the retention judges. I have a relative that's running there, so
Oh yeah, that's right.
Make sure he stays employed.
Judge William O'Brien, definitely retain him. He's already been on the show, and he's a very remarkable figure, and he's terrific. And I want to thank you so much for being here, Terry O'Brien, President of the Water Reclamation District. I want to thank my entire technical crew, Sonny Hersh. Check us out on the web, ntnm.org. Time to go, everybody. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye, Marty.